The Missing Operators project from the YByte Python curriculum available at www.ybyte.in asks you math questions and you have to tell what operator is being used. For example, 23-40 is minus 17. The operator has to be negative, minus, but let's say I make a mistake. Let's say by mistake I answer plus. Look how this program tells me terrible, all right, but then it helps me out saying, well, look, the correct answer was minus because 23 minus 40 is 17. Now let's look at the next question. It says 23 dash 40 dash 32. Let's say I answer plus plus. Now that's clearly wrong, but the program won't give up on me. It helps me out, says correct answer is minus minus because 23 minus 40 minus 32 is minus 49. So this is quite helpful. The program is being a little bit helpful. In fact, it does the same thing on the long question. So it asks me this long question, let's say, quite a long one here. Can you tell me the missing operators? I just, let's say, don't quite get it. So I say, for example, just guess something. It tells me, look, that's not right. The correct answer was 91 times 32 times 4 minus 64 minus 31 minus 33 is 111520. Now, 11520. Now, this is nice because it kind of, leaves me feeling a little bit better, more easier to understand what my mistake is, and so on and so forth. Question is, how did we do this? And how can we enhance our code to give, let's say, this kind of a output to the user? In fact, we'll start from the simplest of the questions, which is the very first question. We already have all the information that is available. We already know what the two numbers are. We already know whether the user has answered correctly or not. We already know what the operators is. So I just go in here. I say, okay, look, if the answer does not match the operator that I've chosen, I print terrible. Now I just put a couple of more print statements actually. So I say the correct answer answer is, and the correct answer in this case is basically op list and op list op, because remember op was the variable that I chosen, and I'm picking this from the op list. So correct answer is this, and I just tell my user why that is so. Again, that is not hard at all, because remember, basically it's the same thing here. I was asking the question, so I'm just going to take the exact same thing over here. That this part is very interesting. I'm just taking, instead of the question, instead of the dashes here, I will give, let's say, a space, a single space, plus I will put let's say op list op and plus another space, right? So if I did this, now notice I'm using the exact same thing as earlier, but instead of forming the question, I'm just telling the user the answer, and this looks nice. We can just try this out. Now we can try this out. Let's say I say, give me a number. I say 12. I say 45. 12 plus 45 is 57. Let's say I intentionally give a minus. It tells me the correct answer is plus. I've made a mistake here. We'll fix this. Correct answer is plus because 12 plus 45 is 77. Now notice these prints are very similar, and that's what we are leveraging to print the second statement here. Let me just fix this here. Correct answer is, let's say, op list. Right now, let's move to the next question. Next question is a 3-number question. The same story holds. I can just use, let's say I can tell print, let's say the correct answer is, and I just put, for example, in this case, op list, say op1, and let's say op list, say op2. Now that will be my correct answer. I will again form the question statement, because once again the question statement is basically just this exact thing. So I'll just say, okay, let me just put, say, print, for example, I just go and take this entire thing and put it here, because the information is already available to me. All I need to do is to print this, but remember, I do not want to be printing the dashes. In fact, I'll be printing, say, op list, say op1 instead of dash number 1, and let's say op list, say op2. If I were to leave it here, there's something strange that will happen. So I say, for example, first question, answer is multiply, but let's say I say plus. It tells me, well, the correct answer is multiply. That's nice. Next question, I'm just going to say, for example, let's say plus plus, which is clearly wrong. It tells me correct answer is plus minus, but notice this looks rather cramped. How do I fix this? But very simple, it's printing it all correctly. I just need some extra spaces like I had done previously too. So I just add a couple of spaces here. Just be a little bit careful because we've got lots of things on this string. So, be a little bit careful on this. I'm going to add a couple of spaces also on the op list too. So I do this, and plus, let's say plus, let's say again I do this, and with this I think this should be good. If I run this now, let's say 12, say 21, 32, I say minus. Well, the correct answer is plus. It tells me the correct answer. Can you tell me the missing operator now amongst these? Let's say I go and say minus minus. That's wrong. The correct answer is minus plus, because 21 minus 32 plus 43 is actually 32. This is quite useful, quite nice. Let's see how we can do this on the long question. So for example, right now there's a long question. The answer is given. So I just ask this question. The question here is 52, 55 plus say 92, and so on and so forth. My correct answer is minus minus plus plus, let's say multiply. So let's say I made a mistake and I say this clearly just tells me nope, incorrect. How can I get this to be telling me the right? In fact, the logic here is exactly the same as what we are doing for 2 or 3 number questions. Just that, remember, for longer questions, I form the question itself using a for loop. So I'm going to take the exact same for loop. Instead of these dashes, which were for the places, I'm going to replace that with basically list ops plus add a few spaces here and there. So what I'll do here, and I'll come, so I come back to my code over here. I know that my question is being asked from this loop. So, instead of checking for the answer directly, I will just do this whole thing once again. I will prepare before I do this, before I check for the answer, I'll just prepare the correct statement. So I just say prepare the correct statement, and I will just copy this again. Now, very important to make sure that this is again reset, because I can reuse the same variable here. So I just go and say, for example, question is empty. Now, like I said, all I need to do is to replace these two with my, let's say, list ops and kk. But again, I want to give some spaces here so that looks a bit more beautiful. So I give a single space plus this and another set of spaces over here. And this is about it actually. When I do this now, I expect, okay, so I don't want to ask the question once again. I just need to go and tell the right answer. So I say, nope, incorrect over here. For example, here I go and say, print, say the correct answer is, and I can just use the list that I've been using, which is list of ops. It'll print the list, and then I just say print, say qn, because qn has already been formed and I expect it to have the right statement available to me. Let's see this working. So when I run this, for example, I say, for example, 23, say 10, 23 minus 10 is 13, but let's say I try plus. It tells me terrible. The correct answer is minus, because 23 minus 10 is 13. Next one, it looks to me this is plus and plus, but let me just try minus minus for the heck of it. The answer is correct answer plus plus, and it tells me that I get a long question with those answers. So let's say the question is asked, but I intentionally go and answer something wrong. Notice it tells me the correct answer. The correct answer was minus, 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 plus, because 79 minus 95 minus 14 minus 29 minus 7 plus 55 is minus 11. And this is quite helpful, looks quite nice. The program also feels more complete. I hope you found this interesting. If you find that this way of learning by building activities, enhancing them, uh, appeals to you, do look at our website, because we have lots and lots of such activities for you. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.